Hey everybody, it's Romania Black, and we are on episode 6 of season 3 of Attack on Titan. We're halfway through part 1. Isn't that great? I can't believe we're already halfway through part 1. Granted, we're only, a fourth of the way through the whole season, so that makes me feel better because I don't want it to go by too fast, right? I want to savor this because it's the season I've been excited about since starting this series. But I'll be honest with y'all, I was really nervous going into episode 5 because I thought Erwin was going to die. And by the end of last episode, I was so giddy throughout my entire discussion that the creepiness of the end of the episode hadn't quite sunk in yet. And now that I've taken a couple days off, I was like, that ended on a really creepy note. With Historia just like the ring walking up to Eren. Really creepy. So I've had a little bit of sense of dread in this episode because here's the thing. Isayama, he gives us a great moment and then he follows it up with a double shot of pain. So I'm really nervous about this episode because it is the halfway point of part 1. And up until we had this big high with Erwin and the coup and everything. And we're going to talk a little bit about that because I've got some comments I want to talk to before we start the episode. But then it ended on that weird note with Eren and Historia. Okay, so my brain kind of melted at the end of the last episode like you do. My theory right now, having taken some days off and been like, okay, and collected myself, is I think that Frida was the coordinate. And I think that Eren ate her. And the reason why I think that is going back and rewatching the episode and seeing that flashback where Frida's brushing her hair and you look up, it is Eren's face. And if you listen, I had it, when I go back and rewatch, I have it on mute. And so I didn't hear it. But when you go back and rewatch it, you hear Eren as Frida going, oh, and it's his voice in her body. So I'm like, I think he ate her, and that's how he got the coordinate power. I think old Rod Reese gave his daughter, Frida, the coordinate power. She was a Titan shifter, and then somehow or another, I think Grisha's involved in it, somehow or another, Eren got a hold of her and ate her and became the coordinate. That's my theory. I could be totally wrong, but that's my theory right now after rewatching the episode. But before we get into it, I do have a couple notes that I want to talk about because as I'm recording this, episode 4 has aired on Patreon and episode 2 has aired on YouTube. I love episode 2. It's great. But here's the thing. Christopher Peterson, thank you for pointing this out. And I'm sure all of you have noted it in the comments by now. But I didn't realize, and all Christopher said was, at this point in the story, Levi does not know his last name. He does not know that his last name is Ackerman. That's a big deal because we, the audience, I knew because I guess it was like a spoiler at the very beginning of the show. I knew his last name was Ackerman, and Levi knows that Mikasa's last name is Ackerman, and now Levi knows that Kenny's last name is Ackerman, but Levi does not know that his own last name is Ackerman. Kenny said it early on. Kenny told the blonde girl that his name was Ackerman, right? So Kenny knows that Levi's an Ackerman, but Levi himself doesn't know. And I'm like, that opens up a whole can of worms because I'm glad I know that now. So thank you, Christopher. That it wasn't a spoiler. That's just good context to know because I'm like, oh, so Kenny is an Ackerman. Kenny doesn't know that Mikasa's an Ackerman that we know of, but Kenny knows that Levi is, but Levi doesn't know he is. So it's like a big web. I'm going to have to get the damn dry erase board out to go over it again. But yeah, so there's a web of Ackerman things going on. Levi doesn't know who he is. I'm sure that in no way, shape, or form will be a cause for concern in this season. But yeah, that's interesting. So Mikasa recognized the name, and Levi knows the connection between Mikasa and Kenny, that there's some connection there. I'm wondering if he'll touch base with her about that. But Levi himself does not know he's an Ackerman. Good to know. Thank you for telling me that. Also, I like the idea of Hanji. I think, Christopher, you also noted this. Hanji being the Batman of Trost, and Moblit is Robin. I love it. I love that Hanji's Batman, Moblit's Robin. They're out solving crimes, solving mysteries. I love it. I absolutely love it. I also want to note, too, that there are some interesting parallels. This goes back to episode 4. With Marlo and Eren, there are some interesting parallels between Marlo and Eren. Jean notices with both characters that Marlo and Eren have a big sense of justice about them. They have incredible resolve, and once they've decided that they think something about something, they are gung-ho about it. And Jean recognizes that Marlo has that same resolve and sense of justice that Eren does. I think that's really cool. It's funny because their personalities, Marlo and Eren, have totally different personalities. I think the only thing similar is that they're both oblivious to the advances of women. Both Eren and Marlo do not realize exactly how deep in Hitch and Mikasa are with them. So Christopher Nody's like, Mikasa and Hitch need to have a conversation about the denseness of these men that they're after. But I think that's interesting. I personally think that Marlo's personality is kind of like Bertolt's, in that Marlo, like Bertolt, is very stoic and calm, but has resolve. And then that connects to Eren too. So there's a lot of interesting parallels. It'll be neat to go back in the recap and talk about these characters and how they're similar and different. It'll be interesting to talk about that. But Marlo kind of seems in personality more like Bertolt, but in his morals, he's more like Eren, which is funny because we have that connection between the three of them. Interesting. Jason T. Fry, thank you for pointing this out, that Eren has the Erwin. We talk about Erwin being powerless. It's a good callback to the whole cage metaphor that has been, again, we'll talk about this in the recap, but the idea of the cage and that Erwin, I think one of the reasons I was so sad for Erwin the last 2 episodes is because he has all this incredible prowess and dominance as the leader of the Survey Corps, and he seems indestructible, and he had his arm bitten off but was still telling people to charge in advance, and then you see him in the cage, in the cell, and he's literally powerless. It's like all the hope has drained from him. And I think that's a really interesting parallel to what Reiner was talking about back in episode 6, about how a soldier's spirit withers before their body. The idea that being stuck in this cage, being stuck as a soldier in the Wall Kingdom, your spirit and resolve wither before your body does. And we saw that with Erwin. Case in point, him being trapped in that cell waiting his judgment. It was really a really interesting thing to note, and we'll talk about it more later in the recap, but I had to note it. Also, thank you, Algumeguum. Probably said it wrong. Thank you, the guy that Levi killed. His name was Duran. We're going to note that for the toast. And then Baku. Baku also noted, too, in episode 2, that Niall and Erwin, there's some dialogue missing from the manga, and I'm eventually going to read the manga. It will just probably be at the end of the series, and then I'll do like a big soapbox while I'll review and talk about all the things that were left out and changed, because I'll probably want to talk about it after I read it. But they noted that originally in the conversation between Niall and Erwin, it was revealed that Erwin and Niall both liked the same woman, and that Niall ended up joining the military police and got engaged to her to give her security. And so she ended up marrying Niall. And that makes a lot more sense why Erwin was saying, how's Marie and the kids? Like, Erwin knows her on a first name basis. He knows who she is because he liked her. And that's really sad too, because here's the thing. I know I ship Erwin and Levi, but Erwin seems like the type of person that he's never going to settle down with someone because he's always chasing after the truth and living the life of a gambler, like a really, really rocky, unsteady lifestyle, and there's no security there. And so I'm like, I don't think Erwin could ever settle down with a woman or a man unless it was Levi, because Levi lives the same dangerous lifestyle. But I don't think he could ever settle down to a normal life because Erwin's always gambling and seeking the truth and putting himself out in such dangerous situations. I don't think that's possible for him. You know, there's not a lot of security in marrying a gambler. So I find that very interesting. And then finally, a couple real things real quick. El Ribeiro 97 talked about Levi found Erwin. That's what, back in episode 2, Kenny was saying that Levi had found something, and it was Erwin. Erwin was the person to back his faith and trust in. And that connects to episode 4. But what did Kenny find? Again, we're going back to Kenny's dreams. And the idea of Erwin's dreams too. Like there's all these connections that are interesting that I can't wait to talk more about with y'all. And I'm excited to see how they develop on down the road. And I'm already at 10 minutes. It's fine for the intro. You guys should expect nothing less. But also, real quick and point, that Annie Reiner Bertolt, this was established back in episode 2 as well, that they didn't know for sure that Eren was the coordinate. They were looking for the coordinate. And when Eren turned into a Titan, they thought, oh, this guy could be the coordinate because how many other Titan shifters are out there, right? I mean, Marcel was eaten, but clearly the Titan that ate Marcel wasn't Eren. So they're like, we'll chalk that one off. It's not him. So they just wanted to confirm that Eren was the coordinate because Reiner did say back in episode 9, I think, that if Eren was not the coordinate, they were going to go back and try to find them. So Good to know. But I thought that was all really, really interesting. Very interesting things. Y'all have also pointed out that in the manga, there was in episode 2, apparently shirtless Eren, or shirtless Erwin, and shirtless Levi. Why am I being denied these things? Isayama, why? Why don't I get Ackerman abs? Where's my daddy poker face 6-pack? I need these things. I don't want to see Eren's 6-pack because he's 15. He's an underage kid. I don't want that. But Levi's in his 30s. Erwin's probably in his 40s. I can handle that. No. Sorry, my mind will be out of the gutter for the remainder of this episode. Probably not, but I'll try my best. So, all right, this episode's called Sin. Gee. I don't know, you guys, what to expect, but I'm nervous. This seems like we ended the episode on a heavy note of Eren about to be sacrificed to something and Historia looking grim. I don't get good vibes, but you know what? We're just going to watch and see where the chips fall, right? We're going to roll the dice like Erwin and just see what happens. So we're going to start episode 6 of season 3, Attack on Titan, technically episode 43, here in 3, 2, 1. Let's do this. I feel like you know what? Episodes 1 and 2 were insane and action-packed and crazy. And then episode 3 was like, oh, okay, we're getting into some lore, into some Historia stuff. Okay. Episodes 4 and 5 were all about Erwin's dilemma and getting Erwin out of this. And the whole time I was thinking through episodes 3 through episode 5, I was like, man, this plot seems more, this plot seems more like streamlined, kind of like going back to season 1. Like, we've not had any crazy reveals. I mean, we found out Kenny was an Ackerman, and we know now Levi doesn't know who he is. But and then Isayama was like, hey, that like kind of calmness you've been having the last 3 episodes, what? Y'all told me that the reveals, like episode, I shouldn't have been surprised. Like I said in the reaction, episode 6 of season 2 was like a grenade being thrown at us. And y'all have been saying like, oh, well, these reveals in episode 2 have been like firecrackers. And I'm like, oh, well, where's the bomb? Isayama just like detonated, like went, that whiteboard's coming out in about 5 seconds, let me tell you, because we have to break it down. Buckle in, because this just answered a whole hell of a lot of questions, and I've got to go back to my questions list, and the hell? I'm sorry. I'm going to need a headphone warning throughout this entire discussion, because I'm not calm. I am like, oh. You wanted answers? Isayama's like, fine, you naysayers. You want answers? I'll give you answers. But get ready, because I don't think you can handle the truth. And Sin. Gah. Here's the thing. Here is the thing, though. We get answers about Grisha. Dear God, we get answers. But we still have questions. And now I don't trust this Rod Reese any further than I can throw him. No, there is stuff being left out of the narrative. He is an unreliable narrator. There is stuff being left out that we don't know about. And he's not telling us the full story. But Grisha! So, to answer our question, Titan shifters can have sex. They can have sex that we know of. And Grisha and Carla. The question is, did Carla know? I'm assuming not. But Grisha is from... I don't even know if he's from the other side. What is the other side anymore? Oh, buddy. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have to go through this. There's just no point in getting around it now, because it's all starting to piece together. Slowly but surely, and I just felt like that we just got a giant set of pieces, like, oh, here's these critical pieces you need. Here, go. I'm like, okay, so we gotta do this. Let me calm down. Oh, God. All right, so let's go through this episode. Got it pulled up on Crunchyroll. All right, so Eren, God, what a trip. I feel so bad for Eren, because you just found out, after dealing with I mean, a couple of weeks ago, Eren just lost his, like, father figure Hannes to the Titan that ate his mother. And now he's found out that not only was his dad in on this whole Titan deal, that his dad was a Titan shifter. Not only that, but Eren ate his dad. Oh my god. As far as we know, he ate Grisha. But there's still... something's not right with that story. Something's not right, because how did Eren make it... something's not right with the story. And here's another reason why. Something's not right with the story, because we established that the powers of the Titans and the power of the king doesn't work on an Ackerman. So, oh my god, wait. Oh, okay. We're gonna talk about this. We are gonna talk about this. Okay, here's my theory time. Theory time, bear with me. But I'm thinking we have these 3 daughters, right? I think that they're 3 daughters from the ED of season 2. So we have the season, all right? We got season 2 ED. Oh, you all can't see that. There we go. Season 2 ED. All right. We have the 3 daughters. 3 daughters. I'm thinking we got Rose, we got Cena, and Maria. Now again, theory time, right? So it's just a theory. But I think that these 3 daughters are the 3 factions that got the power to turn into a Titan. I think that whole ED, the 3 girls, something happened. The king gained the power of the Titan, and he gave the power to his 3 daughters. It passed down to them. And I think that the 3 daughters are the 3 factions. Again, rule of 3. Isayama, you're loving the rule of 3. That I think that they're relating to the Eastern clan. Again, these are all interchangeable, so I don't know which one goes to which one. But you have the Eastern clan, you have the Ackermans, and then you have the royal family, which we'll just call Reese for now. I think that the 3 daughters gained the power of the Titans and the Titan shifters, right? Gained the power, and they've passed it down through the families. And it said that certain bloodlines are not affected by the king's power because they probably trace back to these 3 original ones, right? That they're not affected by the power. So that they're not affected by, so we'll say not affected by the coordinate. So they can't be controlled. All right. So that's interesting. That's an interesting caveat because that sets up some things. Like I said back in season 2 recap, if Eren's going to become an antagonist, which after this episode, I definitely don't think he's helping out humanity and the Reese family. Don't think so at all. Don't think so at all. So if they can't be controlled, that's setting up that if Eren becomes an antagonist, Levi and Mikasa can't be controlled by him. They can't. So that's important, right? They can't be controlled by him, okay? Now, obviously, Mikasa and Levi that we know of aren't able to turn into Titan shifters that we know of. We don't know for sure. But, okay, so the royal family can turn into Titans. That's good to know, because I was questioning it. I was like, can the royal family turn into Titans? They can. They can turn into Titans, because Frida could turn into a Titan. Frida was the coordinate. Frida was the damn coordinate. Okay, so the question is, were all the 3 of these like something, a specific kind of Titan? Were one of these the Colossal Titan? One of them the Armored Titan and the Coordinate? Because I want to say, if you were looking at Titans that were the most powerful, I would say the Coordinate would be one of the most powerful ones, and I would say the Colossal would be one of the most powerful ones. I don't know about the Armored Titan, because Annie and the Armored Titan, the female Titan and the Armored Titan, the Armored Titan's really strong, but Reiner has a lot of disadvantages. Like, he's slow, he has to let up his armor to go faster, he's big, but he's not huge like the Colossal Titan. So I don't know, I feel like the Beast Titan, though. And honestly, Grisha kind of looked like the Beast Titan at first, so we'll talk about that. But the Beast Titan, the Colossal Titan, and the Coordinate are the ones I think are probably the top 3 strongest of the group. So it would make sense if let's say one family got the Coordinate powers, one got the Colossal powers, and one got the Beast Titan powers or something like that, that it all just kind of disseminated from that. But the fact that the royal family can alter memories and make people forget, and have been doing so for years is mind-blowing. And that all... But here's the thing, okay? So here's my problem. So our timeline that we have established is that the Reese family during the fall of Wall Maria, when Reiner and Bertolt attacked the wall, what happened was that the Reese family went down into that chapel, supposedly, with the coordinate. So Frida had the coordinate powers. Frida was the coordinate, in fact. And then Grisha was there. But here's the thing with that. They established Grisha had the power of the Titan. Lord Reese knew that. So why did he have Grisha there? There's an unreliable narrator, and there's something that Lord Reese is not telling Historia. I don't like that Historia is drinking the Kool-Aid. I don't like that she's not questioning. I mean, which it makes sense. It's her dad. Why would she question her father? You know, why would she question him if everything supposedly on the surface makes sense? But for those of us that have been following this madness, then it doesn't add up. Why is Grisha there? So, why is he here? Why was he there to begin with? Why is he there? Why was Grisha summoned or found him? How did Grisha know where the chapel was? So again, tying to these bloodlines, he was in the inner circle, Grisha was somehow. How did he know? The king obviously let him in. So what? Okay, so why was Grisha there? The point was Grisha fought Frida, and Grisha became the coordinate. And we're going to go back to that flashback and look at it. But he became the coordinate, and then he found Eren and the damn syringe. He turned Eren, the stuff that he injected him with, turned him into a Titan. Talk about that. And then Eren became the coordinate. But that still leaves questions. And I'm using different colors because I have to do it. This leaves questions. How does the serum work? So, back in episode 10, the Titans that were on top of the wall, Ymir and the others, as they were being kicked off the wall, were they given the serum? Were they given the syringe and serum to turn them into Titans? It's been going on for over 50 plus years. So, how does that work with Ymir? And that makes so much sense, because if you just wanted to get rid of people in a mass fashion, you could just turn them into Titans and kick them out, and then just alter the family's memories so that they forgot about them. Oh my gosh. Okay. But then why? Why turn them into Titans? Why do that to begin with? If that's their punishment, why turn them into Titans? Why do that? Why would you do that to start with? If you know that they could potentially become a Titan shifter by eating the right person, why would you risk that? Why wouldn't you just kill them? So there's that. But also, how did Eren get back to Armin and Mikasa? How did that happen? Because we've established Mikasa, being an Ackerman, wouldn't be affected by the coordinate, wouldn't possibly be affected by the memory altering things. We need to go back through the episode and check that, but wouldn't be altered by the memories. So how did Eren get back? And it showed in that flashback that Eren had the stuff over his eyes after eating Grisha. So how did that all clear up by the time how did a 10-year-old find his way back? No, something's amiss. There was someone else there. Someone else had to have been with Grisha. I'm convinced. Someone had to have been there with Grisha. There's no way that Grisha was by himself and they drug Eren out into the woods, turned Eren into a Titan. Eren went to eat Grisha. I believe that Grisha let Eren eat him. I believe that he did. I fully believe that. But I feel bad now because I've been saying, where the hell's Grisha been this whole time? He's been with us in spirit. I've been ragging on Grisha this whole time, being like, where's Grisha? And you guys are like, well, he's been there. Oh no! But okay, how did Eren get back to Mikasa and Armin? How did he find his way back? Obviously, was someone there that made him forget? Was someone there from the royal family that made him forget? How does this work? Okay, but we're getting things here. So okay, we need to go through this episode and add to this. I feel like Pepe Sylvia now, for sure. So I'm really disturbed by the fact that Historia has drank the Kool-Aid. And she is like, everything is fine, Eren. Look, Pastor Nick had to die, but my father, he's saved us all. It's okay. Just hang in there for a little while longer. I'm like, what do you think's going to happen to Eren? Yeah, what do you think's going to happen? It's like, my father's been allied to all of humanity within the walls for years, many years past and many years to come. We were mistaken about him. I'm like, she looks like she's been brainwashed. No. He's been a problem for the scouts. Yeah, a bit. And the PS people did kill Pastor Nick, but he didn't have any other choice. I'm like, I'm not believing it. He's done for the sake of humanity. I'm like, but blah. Yeah. I'm still so curious. Why did he have Historia to begin with? Here's my thing too. Why did he have Historia? Yeah. Why? And okay, so Eren notices that he can't tell inside whether it's day or night with the walls glowing like this. And he feels like he's been here before because he's ate the coordinate, and he has, because it's like the memories. Okay, so apparently, oh my God, well, this could explain a lot with Reiner too, because if the idea is that you eat a Titan shifter and you gain their power, then essentially you also gain some of their memories, right? Or at least a semblance of it, because you're basically possibly ingesting part of their soul. So he would remember this place because both Grisha and Frida have been here. That explains why he saw Frida in the mirror, because he remembered and he saw her through his eyes, which are hers. So Eren essentially, oh God, what is happening? So Eren has Grisha and Frida, possibly part of their soul and their memories inside of him, and that's why he remembers. So it's not far-fetched to think that possibly Reiner and Bertolt have memories of the previous Colossal Titan and the previous Armored Titan inside of them. So it's no wonder that Reiner went cuckoo, that he had adopted these personas. Not that he went cuckoo. Reiner's not crazy, but it's no wonder that Reiner was having such a crisis, because if he was having memories of other Armored Titans too, well, no wonder, right? And they didn't even remember eating the person that allowed them to become this. So, oh my gosh, okay. And Lord Reese knows. He knows what's going on. He knows what's happened. He's like, this is the first time you've come here. But he says, though, it wouldn't be strange if you recognize it. He's like, because he ate my daughter, or your dad ate my daughter. And Eren's like, what the hell? And so this whole thing, them holding out their hands, and he's like, I intend to explain, but I want to try it first. So they both hold out their hands, both to them. If we do this, he may remember all on his own. So, okay. And they touch him, and there is the spark, right? And Eren remembers. Okay, so the Reese family, they can alter memories. It seems like they have to touch them, right? It seems like they have to touch them for it to work. So it seems like they have to touch them for it to work. So they can alter memories through touch, okay? So, all right, we get this. So we have the family. All right, and yeah, there's an older son. There's Frida. There's a younger boy. There's two younger kids, and then the other girl, right? And then the mom and him. It seems like someone's looking at them, which I'm assuming is Grisha. And then she bites her hand to turn into a Titan, to turn into the coordinate. Okay. These aren't things I've seen. Yeah. Oh my God. And then it shows him grabbing her. And she's like Annie, she's the female Titan too. So that's interesting. Grisha. Okay, so the mom is dead, and there's a kid and the dad. And so maybe Reese did get out. Okay, but here's the thing. That's Keith. That's Keith. That's with the Survey Corps. And everybody's running. Wait, go back to that. So it shows everybody running, but I'm assuming running from... Oh my God. That was during Wall Maria when it was falling to Reiner Bertolt, and Grisha got Keith. Oh my God, is Keith a Titan shifter too? Okay, so Keith is involved. Oh my God, and it goes back to season 1 in episode 3 when Keith was like, look, Grisha, look at your son. He's a soldier now. He's in on it. He knows everything too. Okay, and so then there's that. And it shows Grisha tying the key to his hand. So he was tying it to his hand so that when he transformed into Titan, he wouldn't lose it. He would have it with him. Okay, this key. And then he's going to inject him with something. Oh my God. And then, oh my God. And he turned him into a Titan. Oh my God. But he was still a kid. So it was like, and even the jaws deformed too. And then it shows him, oh my God. And he ate him. And then it shows the Titan, the body disintegrating. Oh my God. And Grisha's arm. And him holding the glasses. Oh my God. And saying his dad. And like the tears have sparkles in them. Okay, but wait. Was there somebody there too? How did he get back? How did he get back? How did he get back as a kid? I don't understand. Was Keith there? Oh my God, but we don't get to see it. Oh no! Well, if Eren did not have a crisis of identity now, he sure got one now. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. So yeah, so he showed him the past. I'm with Eren. I would be freaked out. Your father's sin. Oh my God. I'm on board. If I was Eren, I'd be so freaked out because we've set this whole story up to talk about how Eren has hated the Titans for killing his mother and for starting all this. And the reality is that Eren's in the same boat as them all too. Oh my God. 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 Okay. All right. We can get past this. And now this OP having all of the connections, the ED having all the connections to Historia and Grisha and everything. Oh my God. I just blah, 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 blah. All right. When you get past this OP and what is the lie? What is the truth? Y'all are saying, what is the lie? What is the truth? What to believe? So yeah, there's still so many unanswered questions with all this when you talk about it. But so the idea that Frida knew about Historia and kept checking on her without Lord Reese knowing. So again, why did Lord Reese had 5 kids? Why did he need a 6th? Why does Historia even exist? And I'm being honest, like I like Historia as a character a lot. But my question is, why? Why did he need to have Historia? Because he had 5 children. If they all could have become Titans, isn't that enough? Why did you have to have Historia with this other woman? And okay, the booklet, the book about Krista, the monster, and I'm sorry, but looking at this now, the monster in the book looks like Ymir. It looks like Ymir. There's the little girl holding up the apple or the thing to the monster that has the little lantern, right? Holding up the thing to the monster. The monster looks like Ymir. The monster looks like Ymir. And it's the idea of the ladylike girl who's kind to everyone, and her name is Krista. So it's curious that Lord Reese chose Krista as her moniker. It's very curious, right? But I'm guessing maybe he knew she read that book a lot. Maybe the mom told him that she read the book a lot, and he just picked the character she would know most so that he could coax her into going along with the name. It's just an odd coincidence that the name he gives her is the name of the character in the book. And he didn't know Frida. He supposedly didn't know Frida was visiting her. But then again, we can't trust Lord Reese because he's an unreliable narrator, I'm pretty sure. So he may have known Frida was visiting her. And that's why he chose Krista as the name. He could have known. And he just did it to help coax her. But it's funny that the monster in the booklet looks like Ymir. Has the big giant head, has the teeth, has the weird eyes. It looks like Ymir. That's coincidence number 1. 2, that the dad asked Historia to call herself Krista when it was the same character in the book that Frida had read to her. And supposedly he didn't know Frida was visiting her. That's coincidence number 2. And the third coincidence is that just like the Edie in season 2, the girl holding the apple up to the monster, it's the same thing. It's weird. Rule of 3 in this episode, y'all. I can't. So, and she's like, you like Krista too, Historia, don't you? Krista's always thinking about other people because she's so kind. So it's like, shouldn't you be just like her? You should try to be like her. Yeah, it's like subtly trying to like subconsciously mold her, which is interesting. You should live in a way to be helpful and loved by everybody. In that case, I want to be like you. And then Frida is like, what? No. And you get that Frida maybe doesn't think that she's a kind person because she has the Titan powers. And she's like, oh, that's perfectly fine. And she's instantly like, no. And she has to alter her memory. It's time for me to go. And she makes her forget. So she does the Doctor Who head thing and makes her forget. You'll have to forget about me again until we can meet again. And she does the little brain snap and makes her forget. So my question is, do they have to touch people to make them forget? And if so, and if not, how did they do it on a mass scale, right? How'd they do that? Unless they just did all one by one. I mean, they're royalty. They have nothing else to do. So I guess that would work. Oh my God. And then Historia remembers because she touched Eren and because Eren ate Grisha that ate Frida. And yeah, she's like, why did I forget about that until now? Yeah. And she remembered all the times with Frida that she was never alone, that Frida was always with her. So the mom knew that Frida was coming around. Yeah. She taught me how to read and write and gave me books. Yeah. Again, how? How could I forget about her? Something's not right. Something's off with this. Something's off with why Frida was around her all the time and came to check up on you occasionally. No, if she taught her to read and write and stuff, she wasn't checking up on her occasionally. She was coming around a lot. So here's the thing. Is Historia, and this is where it's getting kind of freaky too, is Historia actually Frida's half-sister, or is she also Frida's daughter? If we're going to get all royal family Game of Thrones with all this, is Lord Rhys Historia's dad and grandpa? I don't know. I'm like, is there some like crazy ancestral stuff here? Because the one mom, but no, I get the one mom said she regretted having her. Why did Lord Rhys have that woman? Clearly, Historia's mother clearly did not like Historia 1, wanted her away, kept saying, I wish I'd killed that girl, which I'm assuming she was talking about Frida maybe, but she did not seem like she liked Lord Rhys at all. And she kept calling Lord Rhys master in the flashback with Kenny. So something's not right. Something's missing there still. And I don't trust Lord Rhys. He is an unreliable narrator. Something's being left out because the stuff he says later, I'm like, that's not adding up. There's stuff missing from the narrative that we don't know. And if she was erasing your memories, it was all done to protect you. And she's like, erasing memories? Say what? Touching your hand to him seems to have uncovered those memories again. And she's like, well, how does that work? Yeah, and she's like, explain, please. Where's Frida now? And this part's really sad because she's like, I'd like to see her and thank her. And Eren knows where she's at. And Rhys knows where she's at. And I feel bad for Historia, but I'm like, girl, your dad is playing you like a fiddle to get on board with all this. And he's like, one time I had 5 children. Okay. But my wife and all the children, Frida included, were killed 5 years ago by his father, Grisha Jaeger. Okay. And Eren's like, well, shit. What the hell? So here's the thing. They're all in the underground thing. Grisha was a person with the power of the Titans. So, I'm sorry, Huck. Okay. I'm going to have to flip it over. I'm going to write smaller this time. Okay. So, all right. So, Grisha Jaeger. All right. Grisha's got the power of the Titans. And he's pleading with them about something. He is pleading with them about something. And we get the 5 children. The one girl looks kind of like Historia. I do not know who the man was. Bullshit! Bullshit, you don't know who this man was. He made it into your underground chapel and you don't know who he is? That's supposedly secret? No. Grisha was in on this somehow. There's something you're not telling me. There's something you're not telling. So it says he has the older, the two kids. So you have, and it's weird that him and his wife are really short and Frida and the boy are really tall. And then you have the other kids. So yeah, I don't know who this man was, but, and then he stabbed his hand, Grisha did, and became this giant, he looks like the Beast Titan. It's weird. His goal was to steal the power that the Reese family possessed. This power Grisha sought to obtain was the power of the Titans residing within Frida. So my question then is, were any of the other kids able to turn into Titans, or was it just Frida? Why was it just Frida? And if that were the case, why was it just Frida? And what power did Grisha have? Did Grisha have an ability? But because Grisha was a Titan shifter, right? So he had to have had a power, right? Right? Before all this? And why did he care? Because we've established that Bertolt and Reiner and Annie, they don't listen to the coordinate, right? Bertolt and Reiner and Annie, they can't listen to the coordinate because the coordinate's powers didn't work on them either. So are they also having the blood of the royal family from where they, again, that's tying back to those three daughters. It's tying back to them that they have the powers, and since they're related, they can't, since they're all related, the powers don't work on each other, right? It's like it cancels it out, okay? So then Grisha, and I like that Grisha has the green eyes like Eren. And so they fought, and he was huge, God. And her Titan was superior to all other Titans. You could say her Titan had unsurpassable power, which is the coordinate power, right? However, she did not have the experience to wield it properly, like Eren, okay? Unable to unleash her true potential, she was eaten by Grisha and he stole the power. Okay, and he had the power of the coordinates, but that's not, and his eyes turned purple. His eyes turned purple, and then he attacked the entire family. But here's the thing, so his rampage sought to eradicate the Reese family. Well, I'm sure that Grisha's goal was to eliminate the royal family. I am certain of that. But here's the thing, why didn't Rod and his wife hold their kids back? Because the two younger ones went first, right? According to this flashback. And Eren's like, shit. It said he crushed the 14-year-old Dirk and 12-year-old Abel. So he crushed them. So we have Historia at the time was 10. And Abel was 12. And Dirk, the other son, was 14. Okay. He crushed them, supposedly. And he trampled over my wife and 10-year-old Florian. But then Florian was also 10. The same age as Historia, right? So were Florian and Historia... Okay. Still clutched in her arms. And lastly, he took my eldest son, Olklin, and squeezed the life out of him. Olklin. Olklin was the eldest son. I was going to say Olklin looks kind of like the Colossal Titan, but Bertolt already had the power, so that's clearly not the case. And then he traipsed out through the chapel, and somehow Rod Reese got out. Miraculously, I was the only one who made it away. Miraculously. Indeed. And of course, Historia, not knowing any different and assuming this was the real story, she would believe that because it's her dad. Why would she have reason to doubt him? And that's going to make her mad at Eren. I'm like, I wanted Eren and Historia to become BFFs. And I don't know if that's going to happen now because Historia is going to blame Eren for killing her sister. And Eren's like, I didn't kill your sister. My dad did. I wasn't there. Why would he do such a terrible thing? Yeah, why? Why? Answer these questions. But Rod Reese isn't going to answer the question. Why did he do it? Why did Grisha take the coordinate power anyway? So, okay. So Grisha, this whole story just got a lot crazier because, okay, here's the thing. Grisha, okay, why was Grisha there? Is Grisha working for the Titan Shifter side? We can assume that when Maria fell, he was over stealing the coordinates powers. That's why he was racing back on the carriage. That all makes sense now. But I'm like, did Grisha if Grisha's working for the Titan Shifter side, did he give Bertolt and Reiner and all them the go-ahead? Here's the thing. He left that day. So why did he leave? Did he leave, one, because he knew Reiner and Bertolt and then were going to attack? Did Carla know what was going on? I don't think she did, but why did Grisha left to go get the coordinate powers? But I'm like, oh my God, I can't. There's something missing. Something is missing, but the pieces are there, but something's still missing. So yeah, and then of course Kenny shows up. Right as we're about to find out why he did something like that, Kenny shows up. What the hell are you guys blabbering about in here? Yeah, I hope you know a bunch of shit's going down outside. I kind of love Kenny. I kind of love it. And he says, Kenny, what happened? The scouts started a coup d'etat and all the regiments changed sides. Everyone knows the king's big fake. But here's the thing, and all the big shots ended up getting captured. It's a royal shit show. But here, it's only a matter of time till they show up here. So here's the thing. You ought to wrap it up lickety split. They're going to have, oh my God, they're going to have Historia try to eat Eren. They don't want anybody else there. I need you and your crew to leave for the ceremony. Kenny is up to something. Yeah, I'm just worried about you. I trust you. Go. And the idea that Rod Reese trusts Kenny, that we go back to the episode Trust. Interesting. Okay. So he says they can't be there for the ceremony. I'm guessing because if he turns Historia into a Titan and she eats Eren, then he doesn't want Historia to get distracted by any of the other Titan shifters. He doesn't want Historia to get distracted by anybody else there. He wants her to just see Eren, eat Eren, and get the coordinate powers. That's what he wants. The power and the vessel. Yeah, Eren has the power and she's the vessel, right? To take it. Oh my gosh. Okay. So then Kenny gets involved in all this, and we'll talk about this. But he trusts Kenny. Okay. So Kenny's in pretty deep with the king. Interesting. And the king's and he's turned. Kenny is like, there's something double agenty about Kenny. There's something that's two-faced about Kenny that I'm like, I can totally see Kenny as a double agent because Kenny knows an awful lot, as we found out. So I could see Kenny as a double agent. And here's the thing: the memory altering powers, they don't work on Kenny because he's an Ackerman. They don't work on him, so they can't erase his memory. Okay. So, okay, yeah, let's just go through this. Scream. Information available for public disclosure. Scream. Among those with the power of the Titans, some have a special scream. While the female Titan can use a scream to control pure Titans, the royal family's Titan has a similar ability and is believed to possess the power to alter human memories as well. Oh, okay. So the female Titan, going back to Annie and the whole thing with the royal family, Annie's power is clearly from the, okay. All right. So the colossal Titan and whatever the hell Marcel was, those I am all guessing have connections to the royal family. Keeping it in the family. That's okay. I mean, if you believe in Christianity, you believe that Adam and Eve started the whole human population and that it just kind of filmed for there. So technically, by that logic, everyone's related to everybody. It just has diluted over thousands and thousands of years. So it's not unreasonable to think that Isayama would be like, anybody that bites. I mean, I'm not saying that Bertolt and Annie are related. I'm not biologically. But the Titan powers that these people all possess have come from the royal family. All the Titan shifters were once royal family members The question is, where did it all start? Who was the first Titan? We don't know that. That's one of my questions. We don't know who the first Titan was. But we know that at some point, these Titan powers all had to have come from something. And I think it's the royal family. So the female Titan can control the pure Titans, similar like what Eren does. But if Eren has the royal family Titan abilities and Eren knows that, then he can control the memories of other humans as well. Humans, but not Mikasa and Armin. I mean, not Mikasa and Levi. That's going to that whole idea of Eren becomes an antagonist in all this. If he becomes an antagonist to humanity, he can control humanity. So, the hell? Okay. That's good to know. Good to know. All right. So yeah. So we go back to, from now on, Zachary and his torture methods. Oh my gosh. And this is the according to plan man. So Zachary has him upside down, and it looks like he's human centipede style, torching him, feeding him his own. Is he feeding him his own feces? Oh my God, Zachary. Oh my God. The decades I spent envisioning it paid off. After you're publicly humiliated in front of the same people you tyrannized, will this masterpiece be truly complete? Oh my God. And yeah, he's just you wait and see. The only blood in you is slave blood. Okay. The only blood in you is slave blood. So we have these noble families. So are we led to believe that the noble bloodlines are descendants of the royal family too, to an extent? That they are, maybe to an extent. And then they're not affected by the memory altering powers as well. And so there's this idea of royalty and slavery, which would tie back to the Putty Titans somehow. It's nothing like our noble bloodlines. Soon enough, you'll lose your memory and forget how to shit. And then he's like, yeah, so in the meantime, don't you have anything new? And so, yeah, so Zachary is not part of the royal family. All right. And then Erwin got a clean shave. He got his face cleaned up. He looks a lot more fresh as a daisy, Erwin. A couple hours did him good. So the Reese family must be able to alter the memories as it suits them. Certain bloodlines, including theirs, are immune to the effects. Okay. Which means Mikasa and Armin and them being immune, we're going to talk about this, they're part of the bloodline as well. If Reese is able to obtain Eren's scream power, this uprising will be nothing. They'll all forget about it. Yeah, he'll just alter their memories. Okay, so the scream. So that's how it's been working. All these years, they've had the power of the coordinate, and they've been using this scream ability to just alter people's memories. If something bad happens, they just alter the memory, and they're like, just go about your business. And, which I guess in the end, the interior police, them killing all these people, it's just been, they've just killed these people because it was more convenient to kill them than to drag them to the coordinate and have them make them forget. Okay. But the scream, so the coordinate scream, that is going to alter their memories too. Oh my God. This whole episode's a bombshell. It's just a giant bombshell. Okay. Yeah. So they're spilling all their secrets. It's as if we'll get what's coming to us. Yeah, so they're going to tell them all it now. So they're telling all the secrets now because they're probably going to forget about it later. And then although Zachary torturing them is better than nothing. Because they're going to remember it. They're going to remember Zachary torturing them. And Zachary dedicated his whole life just so he could get revenge on them and torture them. And Pix is like, oh, well, I may have been known that he was doing this all the time. Slip of the tongue. Yeah, and so Pixis is interesting in this because Pixis says, I've kind of known about Zachary and the fact that he's like this, but it's not affecting me, or any of my men, or humanity as bye-bye. Zachary's only beef is with the nobles. So Pixis is like, I turned a blind eye to Zachary because he's not really after hurting any of us. He's just after the nobles. He doesn't want to hurt humanity, so it's fine. But I like that Pixis says here, he's like, unlike you, I'm not fond of gambling. Pixis is like, no. And also, unlike you, I value the number of remaining humans over my own life. So that's tying back to what Zachary and him were talking about in the last episode. Zachary was like, in the end, you did all this kind of for selfish reasons. Kind of because you didn't want to die, right? And Pixis is like, if I die, it doesn't matter as long as humanity is safe. That's how I'm different from you. And he's like, I only went along with this because at the time, your plan seemed like the one that is the more superior choice for saving humanity. But that may change, right? Had the government have been the favorable choice, then I would have fought against Zachary. So Pixis is like, I'm just going to do whatever's best for humanity, not for whatever's best for me or anyone else. And he's like, and to think, a few minutes ago we were just leading a coup d'etat, and now we're talking about this. It's, oh my God. And now they're worried that they're going to lose all their memories, and it's all going to go back to square one. So he says, I once heard a song that someday humans will stop fighting. When will that be? And Erwin has a reply to that. He's like, oh, whenever humans will stop fighting? When there's none left. Yeah. Erwin's like, humans will continue to fight one another until the day there's one human or less. One human or less. Until the world's just... And maybe that's it. Until they're all just titans. Until they're all just titans, and then there won't be any more humanity. And then they can't fight. Erwin's like, people are always going to fight. There's always going to be some kind of conflict. It's just human nature. And unless there's just one human or less, it's going to happen. Oh my God! So the end game in all this, if right now I'm thinking about it, the end game of this series is either everybody becomes a titan, or we kill all the titans. It's one or the other, right? It's a do or die situation, right? Because I don't know how you can have the two together at this point, but I could be wrong. You gotta see how this ends up. And then he just throws on the cape, and he's like, I'm a Survey Corps commander, damn it. And then Pix is like, I was really hoping for a better answer than that bleak hyperbole. And he's like, I ain't got anything but a hyperbole right now. He's like, we've got to go recover Eren and Historia. And damn, they're going to show up and Historia ain't going to want to go because she's drank the kool-aid. She knows what's up. But, oh my God. So again, this whole episode, so much happened. So Levi is giving them now a story about Kenny the Ripper. Kenny the Ripper. He's Kenny the Ripper. If he's there, he'll be our biggest obstacle. Yes, absolutely. In terms of how much of a threat he is, equate me as his enemy. And they're all like, well... And he's like, well, he's deadlier than me with his weapons. And then I like that Sasha's like, well, we can't beat him if he's as good as Levi. I'm like, that's such a compliment to Levi and how much they believe in Levi and they think he's so strong. They're like, well, if Kenny's as tough as Levi, we can't win. I'm like, that's kind of sweet in a sense that they have that thought of Levi. But then Connie's like, I wish we could just wait and meet up with the troops and all go in at once. And Mikasa's like, absolutely not. If we wait any longer, Eren's going to die. We're not doing that. Yandere Mikasa has spoken. Yeah, we can't wait till morning. And then Armin's like, well, but what if the captain says is true, then Kenny doesn't have any weak points. So, and John's like, really? He has no weak points? And Armin's like, he has combat experience. And then Hanji's asking what we've all been asking. How is it that you live with Kenny and know almost nothing about him? And Levi's like, I only just now found out his last name. So here's the thing. It's Kenny Ackerman. And I'm glad, Christopher, that you noted this because going into this episode, knowing now that Levi has no clue what his last name is, this is going to be some tragic stuff, isn't it? This is setting up some tragic stuff, right? This is setting up that Levi's Kenny's nephew, right? And this is setting up that Levi doesn't even know. And is Kenny going to die? And then only as he's dying is he going to tell Levi that he's his nephew. Like, what? So, because Levi doesn't know he's an Ackerman at this point, but he knows Mikasa is. And so he asks Mikasa if Kenny is a relative of hers. And she says that I heard from my parents when they were alive that my dad's side, the Ackermans, were persecuted in the cities by the royal family. And so my mom's family was Oriental. And so being a different race meant they didn't fit in anywhere. So it makes sense. This Ackerman, her dad, the Ackerman guy, he didn't have anywhere to go. and he found himself being chased just like Mikasa's mother into the woods, and they met and married. Makes sense. But I never found out why the Ackermans were persecuted. My dad didn't seem like a different race. Didn't seem like a different race like my mom was. And then Levi says this. He's like, has there ever been a moment where it felt like a power suddenly awakened inside of you? And we tied back to the beginning of this with Mikasa in episode 6. Episode 6 of season 1. Oh my God. The rule of 6. Oh no. Instead of the rule of 8, it's the rule of 6. In Attack on Titan, every episode 6, there's like a big reveal, even if you don't realize it. In episode 6, Mikasa, when she killed that guy and got the strength to do it, she got that sudden burst of strength. And it was like her brain, like something ignited, and she had extra strength. And Levi's like, shit, yeah. I love the moon comes out. Yeah, in the moonlight. Kenny Ackerman had a moment like that too. One time, out of nowhere, he felt an absurd amount of strength surging within him and knew exactly what he had to do. And I've felt moments like that too. Okay, all right. So again, you've got the Ackermans. The Ackermans are tied to this. Ackermans are tied to this. I think they've got the royal blood too. They're one of the sisters. They're one of the 3 kids. Their whole family stems from that, from the original Titan shifters, from the original Titans. I think it's coming back to it. And then we have, I love this transition of Kenny. You can see all the wrinkles on his face and how older he is. And then he shifts the knife blade ever so slightly. And he's younger. And his eyes kind of look like Levi's. And he's got blood all over his coat, so he's in the military police at this point. So I'm guessing, was his grandpa about to die? He's like, so he's asking him, he's saying, tell me about yourself because you're about to die anyway. You might as well tell me and spill the beans. If you're talking about those goons snooping around, they're in the ground helping the trees grow. So, goons snooping around. So Kenny, okay. So Kenny has been in the military police, in the interior police, like getting down to the nitty-gritty, like getting down to the upper echelon. But he was also defending his grandpa, right? And now he's with Rod Reese. The question is, does Rod Reese know he's an Ackerman? That's the question. Does he know he's an Ackerman? Because it sounds to me like the Ackermans are being hunted down by the royal family because they're not affected by their powers, right? And so him killing the military police is trying to keep his family safe. Speaking of branches, the Branch family moved down to south around Shiganshina, which is, the Branch family is Mikasa's family. So the Branch family moved down south towards Shiganshina, where Eren was from, right? So turns out someone's interfering with their business there too. So someone's trying to get up in their business there as well. And they're still poor as hell. Okay, so here's the thing. In the royal family, there is the line. There's a line, there's something coming out of the ground, and then there's a tree with 3 prongs. Branches, trees, branches, freaking chairs. It's everywhere, y'all. What's the big deal? Didn't the Ackermans used to be a family of warriors protecting the king? Warriors! A family of warriors. So maybe they're not the blood of the royal family, but they were given special powers by the royal family, right? Okay. Now the whole family's on the verge of extinction. The hell did you do to piss off the king so much? And then the grandpa says, won't you tell your cute grandson? He's like, what cute grandson? The Ackerman family isn't hated by the king. It's that they're afraid of us. Yes. Because the king isn't able to control the Ackerman family. Okay, all right. And he's like, control? Kenny's like, what are you talking about? And then you see the tree and stuff growing. He's like, personally, I don't know all there is to know. Of course not. But it's true our family was once the king's sword and one of their vital supporters. So, okay, if you're looking at the 3 branches here, maybe it is that there is the king And there is the sword. And there is the shield. Right? If you're looking at it that way, there's a king, a sword, and a shield. And if we're looking at the Ackermans being the sword, and the Reeses are the king, okay? And then it said, okay, they were the vital supporters, but the king passed down the power of the Titans from generation to generation. So the power of the Titans started with the king. So the king had the power of the Titans. Okay. And I like that the metaphor of that is that you see the tree, right? But here's the thing. You see the tree, but... and my dog's going to bark because there's something outside, so apologies ahead of time. But you see the tree, and underneath the tree, you know, instead of little tree saplings, it's weeds. So it's like you have the tree with all the power, but then there's like little tiny weed saplings that are trying to leech off that power. So... I'm wondering if that's like a metaphor referring to the Titans, the pure Titans. They're not like the Titan shifters like the royal family, but they're like pure Titans. They're like an offshoot of that. So, but what else does he say? And then Kenny didn't even know about that. He's like, what's this power of the Titans? Huh? What are you talking about, old man? It is immense power they possess to alter all of humanity's memories and make them entirely forget the past. Yeah. So hell, the 107 years of the wall, for all we know, that's a lie too. We don't know, right? Except for a few noble bloodlines. Among them, there are two groups that turned their back on the king. There was the Ackermans, the Oriental clan. Oh! Okay, in Funimation it said the Eastern clan. No, it was the Oriental clan. Okay. And then, so are we assuming that maybe that is, and they say, Crunchyroll says Oriental, and I'm going to put or Eastern. So that's how the Ackerman, that family got hooked up with Mikasa's mom, because he's like, oh, you're a family member too that turned your back on the king too. Mikasa's got some bloodlines, y'all. The Oriental clan and the Ackermans turned their back. Okay. Hence the persecution. Such a dreadful story. It ain't the heartwarming story you want to hear on your deathbed. But I did find my little sister. Kuchel has been working at a brothel in the underground. So Kuchel is Kenny's sister. Okay, so Kenny and Kuchel, that makes sense. And I'm going to guess that that's Levi's mom. Is Kuchel. And so Kenny was separated her from her time, which if their family was persecuted, it would make sense that their family did get split up and stuff happened to them. So, she got pregnant by one of her customers. Wants to have it and won't listen to me. Hell. Being born in this piece of shit world. Ain't a single damn dream worth suffering through it. So, is part of Kenny's dream, because Kenny had talked about, you know, Levi found something that was worthwhile to him, and that was Erwin. But is Levi what Kenny needed? Like that connection to the idea that there's a dream worth living for, that was Levi was the dream worth living for, like his sister's kid. Okay. Because we're going back to his dream. And then we hard cut to Levi. There's a damn dream worth living through it. And then we hard cut to Levi, and he has Kenny's eyes. Oh my God. A hidden door. Eren's got to be in here with the enemy. And the layout's like I predicted. Okay, so Hanji's like, they found the hidden door. They've got all this gear. So it looks like they're making bombs. It looks like Armin's making some bombs to throw down in there. These presents better pay off, considering we went out of the way to prepare to them. Yeah, okay. So they're going to drop these bombs down in there. And meanwhile, Kenny's squad's waiting on them. You can be sure Levi's amongst them. And we established that Levi killed at least 12 guys during that ambush. Because he's a warrior. Oh my God. But Bertold and Reiner are warriors. So, oh my God, what are we doing with this? In a world as tiny as ours, dying would be preferable to the life that awaits us the second we surrender. But Then again, is a life stuck in these walls any different? We got an enemy we can't defeat, and all we can do is wait until they break us down the walls and destroy. So what'd she say again? I want to go back to what that blonde girl says. I'll go back to what she said. Because she's talking about Levi killing their comrades. The rest of the interior police are out of the picture. Not to mention the government lost control. Okay. It's a bad situation all around. In a world as tiny as ours, dying would be preferable to life that awaits us the second we surrender. But then, a life stuck in these walls any different? So that's curious she says that. Because, are they trying to get out? Because they're part of the interior, right? So is Kenny's goal? When she says that, I'm like, if she's on board with Kenny's plan, is Kenny and them trying to make it outside the walls to get out of the government, getting away? Why does she say that? Because it makes it sound like she wants to get away from the government and outside the walls. Because she says, then again, is a life stuck in these walls any different? And that other guy looks at her like, huh? We've got an enemy we can't defeat, and all we can do is wait until they break down the walls and destroy us. And I don't know if that's a reference to Armin and them breaking down the walls, or if it's a reference to the Titans breaking down the walls. If that guy looks at her weirdly, I'm like, is she a Titan shifter? What's happening? She's talking weird. We chose to join the military police, aspired to be interior police, and joined up with Kenny. All to seek meaning in our meaningless lives in this meaningless world. Let's keep believing all the way till the end that Kenny and his dream can turn the tables on this world. So, okay, this blonde girl, is she a Titan shifter? Because that was some straight up Reiner talk that she just gave that everybody was like, because she says one thing, but then she kind of contradicts it. She's like, well, we're working for the military police. We joined the military police, and that led us to be in the interior police, so there's a hierarchy there. But now that we're in the interior police, are we really going to stay stuck within these walls, waiting to die? Is that what she's saying? Because I'm like, that doesn't seem like Rod Reese's goal. Rod Reese's goal is to keep the walls intact, but you don't seem to be following along with that, ma'am. So I'm like, wait a second. So is she a Titan shifter too? Is Kenny's whole thing that he wants the walls? I don't know. Kenny's dream. Kenny and his dream can turn the tables on this world. I really want to know Kenny's dream now. Don't spoil me. But I'm like, I get so double agent vibes from Kenny now that it's because the fact that Kenny was killing the military police, trying to hurt his grandfather, and his grandfather is being persecuted by the royal family, and now Kenny's working for the royal family. I'm like, something's up. I'm getting double agent vibes. I am. And then Kenny's all by himself waiting there, and he's going back. And then Armin says, we're good to go. All right. Is everyone ready to get their hands dirty too? And it's funny that Levi's saying that because he's the germ freak, you know. But yeah. And then we have these guys all just looking aside like, the gang's all ready to go. And then we cut to like the back of, and again, you're talking about like a Savior Christ metaphor. You have Eren literally in the T-pose with his bare back, naked and vulnerable, learning all of this about his dad and everything. How he's not going to be traumatized is beyond me. I feel for Eren. And he's still just like staring like, what the hell? And I'm like, what are they going to do? Are they going to have Historia eat Eren? Is that the plan? To pass the power? And Kenny... Okay, Kenny... Kenny's smiling there at the end. Here's my thing. Kenny knows Levi's an Ackerman. It's obviously his nephew. It's obviously Kuchel's kid. He knows Levi's an Ackerman. He probably doesn't know Mikasa is, but he's going to find out, I'm sure. I'm sure Levi's going to tell him, because that would be of him to know. Here's the thing. Is Levi... We have the whole idea of a coup d'etat up top happening. How do we know how do we know that Kenny is not staging the same thing to happen here? Right? Right? How do we know that's not being set up to happen? How How do we not know that's not being set up to happen, right? How do we know that Kenny isn't setting up for Levi and them to all... Because here's the thing. If Kenny's been a double agent this whole time and the Reese family doesn't realize that Kenny's an Ackerman and they don't realize Kenny's intentions, Kenny could be setting this whole thing up, leading Levi and the others to this area. He could be convincing the other Kenny squad. He's like, no, Levi will come to us. Don't worry. He's going to come to us. And he's luring them all there to bust in and cause a riot. And maybe he wants Lord Reese dead. Maybe he wants him and Historia dead. He wanted to kill Historia back then. Oh my God. Yeah. He wanted to kill Historia back then. Kenny did. Because he knew she was royalty. And he's like, well, shit, she could get the royal fat powers passed down. We've got to kill her. So... And because he didn't want Rod Reese to know that he wasn't on his side, when Rod Reese told him to stop, he did. And they did the whole thing of hiding her away. Oh, my brain, y'all, it's gone. I feel like, okay, so in summary... I've got to erase this now, so hold on. Okay, so breaking this down, we have the royal family, right? The royal family somehow got the power of the Titans. We don't know the origins of this. We don't know where this came from, but they somehow got the power of the Titans, right? That's part of the puzzle that we don't know. We don't know where or how they got it, but they got the power of the Titans. And the power of the Titans allow them to not only become Titans, but they can apparently alter the memories of humans, except for a few noble bloodlines. So I'm wondering too, if we're getting into this whole blood in the water thing, if the original royal family, if their blood has this power, if they gave that blood to certain families, like if they had a council, like a round table of council members, and they were like, okay, we want you dudes to be in on the whole thing. So we'll give you part of our blood. You drink our blood in this chalice, and then you guys will be immune to our powers, and we'll just form this kingdom, and you guys and us will rule over everybody else. That seems to be the case. So a few noble bloodlines got some of the power, not enough to become Titans and do all the things, but enough to resist that power. One of those families is the Ackermans, who we established is the Sword of the King. Their family were the Sword of the King, which makes sense. Levi and Mikasa have all of this prowess as warriors, so it makes sense that they could protect the king. So that's the whole point. They got the blood of the king to have the power to be stronger than normal humans, so they could protect the king as well. So they have the sword. And at some point, we have the descendants that we know of that are still alive are Kenny, his sister Kuchel, which we believe is dead, but Kuchel's son Levi. And then some branch of the family, some cousins way down that moved down to Shiganshina, they had Mikasa. Now, the funny thing is, we know that the Ackermans eventually betrayed or branched off from the king for reasons we don't know yet. So they were persecuted. But the other clan that stopped supporting the king too were the Oriental clan or the Eastern clan. And that clan got together and had Mikasa. So Mikasa's like a merging of two noble bloodlines, right? Of two crazy, powerful bloodlines. Mikasa's like the convergence of that, which is insane. And Levi is part of that. We don't know who Kuchel married or who the customer was or anything. I find it curious that Mikasa's dad just happened to meet up with a member of the clan that were nearly going extinct too because they're being persecuted. They were nearly going extinct too because they were being persecuted as well. They're being wiped out. So are they the shield? Was the Oriental clan the shield and they were the sword? We don't know. We know that the Ackermans are the sword, but we don't know who the shield is. We don't know if it's Mikasa's mom's side or who it is. But they're the two bloodlines, the two noble bloodlines that split off from the king to do their own thing. But we don't know why. That's a big thing. So the question then is, on this chart, where does Grisha Yeager fit in at? Because Grisha Yeager had power of the Titans. So is his family part of the bloodline too? Part of the noble family too? Is he related to the royal family? We don't know. And then how did Annie, Leonhardt, Reiner, Bertolt, so you have the coordinate, which was in the royal family, and then you have Grisha was a Titan shifter. So we know that Bertolt and Reiner and Annie were Titans, Titan shifters. So we have Grisha, we have Bertolt, Reiner, Annie, Marcel, and the coordinates. We have 6 there, right? There's 6. Which, okay, here's the thing. There were 6 different Titan shifters that we know of, and the Beast Titan, I guess, makes 7. So I find it curious, why did Rhys have 5 kids and then felt the need to also have Historia? Like, there's some significance to that. But why? Why is this happening? Where did the power of the original Titans come from? We don't know that yet. That's the big overarching question of where this all started from. Where did it come from? I'm assuming we're going to find that out. Why does the Rhys family want to keep everything within the walls? Like, you have all this power, and you have this power to alter memories. Why do you want to stay in this little kingdom? Why don't you want people to go to the outside wall? Why do you care? We don't know that yet. That's why are the other Titan shifters outside the wall to begin with? Why were they kicked out? That's the question too. Did they leave? Did those Well, here's the thing though. If the Rhys family were worried, because here's the thing we know about the royal family. If we're going by the 3 daughters thing, what if one of the daughters stayed and started the royal family here with the power of the Titans? What if the 3 daughters, what if their dad was the original Titan somehow? Like, he got it from a goddess or a god or something, this power, gave it to his 3 daughters. One of the daughters stayed behind to form the Rhys royal family, and the other 2 daughters left. And then what if one of the other daughters came back and was like, actually, I want to take over and rule this kingdom that you've built? And then it started a war. And the 3 daughters were at war, and it just escalated from there. And then they built, which would be weird though, because then why would you name the walls Maria, Cena, and Rose if they're your sisters' names? Why would you do that unless it was Cena? Was Cena the one that stayed behind? Cena was. And then she named the other walls Rose and Maria? I don't know. Or they were all ruling different walls or different kingdoms. They all ruled their own kingdom. I don't know. My question in all this is, why was there's an unreliable narrator in this story. There's an unreliable narrator. Lord Rhys is not telling the full truth. He's not explaining why Grisha was there, because Grisha just can't be some nobody that found his way through a secret hidden door into your chapel. That does not make sense. So Grisha was there for a reason. He was pleading to you for a reason, Rod Rhys, and you didn't listen. So what was going on? What was the deal? I've never wanted to know the Titan side of the story more than I do now. We were getting humanity's side of it. We're getting Rod Rhys' side of it. We've gotten his side of the story, his perspective. But we don't know what Bertolt, Reiner, and Ymir's perspective are. Why can't they talk about it? If their memories are going to get old. Here's the thing. And we established this with Erwin and Pixis too. Pixis is like, the higher up lords are spilling all their secrets now because they know that humanity's memory is going to be wiped anyway, so it doesn't matter. They're going to forget. Once Rod Rhys does whatever him and Historia, I'm assuming he's going to have Historia eat Eren. That's what he's planning on doing, so that she can get the coordinate power back into the royal family. So I'm assuming that's the deal. And so the higher ups don't care if they blab because it's all going to be forgotten anyway. But if that's the case, then why didn't Bertolt and Reiner just tell them all everything to begin with? Unless they don't know. But they have to know something. So somebody is behind the scenes. The Beast Titan is pulling the strings on that side of the wall. The Beast Titan is pulling the strings on that side of the wall. And like I said in prior episodes, I bet Grisha is involved with that side. And Grisha was involved with Reiner and Bertolt's side. I wouldn't be surprised if Grisha in some regards orchestrated the wall of Shiganshina falling, and then went to go try to tell Rod Rhys to do something, and Rhys was like, nope. And that caused him to be like, fine, then I'm going to take the power and let's go. If that was the case, we don't know. We don't know Grisha's. Now I feel bad because I want to know Grisha's perspective. What was Grisha trying to do down there? But something with the Beast Titan is happening on the other side of the wall, and I don't trust Rod Rhys. I don't believe in his side of the story completely. I believe his wife and kids were killed by Grisha, and Grisha stole the coordinate power to give to Eren, but there was a reason for that. And why? Just why? And how, the other question in all this is they have the serum that turns people into Titans that we know now is what turned Ymir into a Titan. Where did that serum come from? How was it made? Was it made from the Titans themselves? I don't know. Is it like plasma from the Titans? We don't know. So how is that constructed? I have more questions still, but I feel like Isayama just turned on a light switch and there's monsters all inside. I feel like you're in a room in the dark And Isayama was like, oh, you want me to turn on the light? Okay, cool. And he flipped it on, and then you look around, and there's like monsters and hellish things around you, and you're like, oh, no, turn it back off. turn the light back off. I didn't want to know. I feel like that was it. Because even Kenny finding out all this stuff, I feel like Kenny's grandfather is the Isayama substitute. Isayama wrote himself in as Kenny's grandfather and was like, I'll tell you all these secrets. Here's all this lore dump. And Kenny's like, wait, I didn't want to know this. But yeah, I'm sure that Levi is Kenny's nephew. And that Mika says they're distant cousin or something. But, oh buddy. The whole thing with Frida and Historia is weird. And that Reese claims he didn't know that she was there. I don't believe that, especially since he wanted her to be called Krista. And that was the name that she knew from the book. And I don't think Rod Reese is a reliable narrator. I think he's lying. He's lying, or he's intentionally leaving things out. He may not be lying, but he is intentionally leaving parts of the conversation out that we don't know yet. And that we won't know, I think, until we talk to the Titan side, until the Titans give their side of the story. But then why wouldn't they tell us? Oh man, this episode, holy cow. Yeah. Answers. I wasn't expecting the lore dump that we got in this episode. I figured that we would get something from Historia's perspective, like Lord Reese would tell her something. Did not see it coming that Grisha was eaten by Eren. Did not see that coming. Did not see that Grisha ate the coordinate and Grisha became the coordinate. And then he's like, so then the other question is, what's in the damn basement? He wanted Eren to go to the basement to find out the answers. So what's there? What is in the basement? And he left Eren with the key. Grisha sacrificing himself so that Eren could become the coordinate and find the answers. I'm curious why. Why did Grisha give the power to Eren? I don't know why he gave the power to Eren. That's another thing. Why would he give the power to his son who was 10 years old? Why? Because I'm like, he could have instantly died. Why would you do that? I don't know. There's something with Carla too. Something has to do with Carla in all this. And we don't know the answers yet. But I felt like I put together a big chunk of the puzzle this evening. And now that I'm starting to see the picture, I'm more confused. But it's okay. Don't spoil me. This is amazing. I've had 2.5 boards worth of stuff. It's amazing. I need to process and let it soak in a little bit and then go from there. So this was amazing. I love this episode. It's not one of my favorite episodes because it was more setup and flashback, but I love this episode because it was like the bomb I've been waiting for from Isayama. And he just clicked the grenade and threw it and I didn't even see it coming. Oh my God. And here's the problem. The problem is my mind is like mush. And y'all just told me that part 2 is where my brain's gonna melt for real. I don't know. I don't know where I go to from here. How can I be ready for that? I wasn't ready for this. So don't spoil me. I'm loving going into this blind and you all watching in real time as my brain explodes, but I need to think about this just for a little bit and think about it. Go back through my questions and I'm going to have new questions and answer for it. But yeah, we had the Chancellery was the military, the justice, and the administration. So I'm wondering if that rule of 3 applies to this as well. You have the military, the justice, and the administration. If your justice is a sword, the Ackermans are justice. The military, and then the administration. The administration sounds like with the royal family. I don't know. Again, we need the Titan side of the story, and we're not going to get it yet. But this is all set up for what's going to happen next episode. I don't know how they're getting out of here. I don't know if Lord Reese is going to try to have Historia eat Eren during the episode. I don't know if they're going to get Eren out. I don't know. But I hope y'all enjoyed this reaction. Thank you for listening to my long-winded ramblings. I don't even know how long. My camera kept turning off, and so I had to restart. It would just like shut off automatically. I don't know if something's glitching with it. But I had to restart it. And so I'm like, I need to figure out what to do. But I don't even know how long this has been. I don't know how long I've talked. Who knows? But in any case, thank you all for watching. I'm so excited for the next episode, but I need to take a couple days and chill my brain. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care. And yeah, I'll be back with episode 7 of Attack on Titan. Bye.